Welcome to Tradespoon and Yellow Tunnel. My name is Vlad Karpel. I'm CEO and founder of Tradespoon and Yellow Tunnel. Today we're going to have a live trading room open to trade stock and options using our technology. For those of you who are new, welcome. This is my brief bio. Disclosures are very important. Please read them. If this is the first time you see the disclosures, I encourage you to visit optionsclearing.com so you can understand the risk associated with trading stock and options. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not registered with FINRA nor SEC. I'm showing you what I do in my own account based on my own risk tolerance level for general education information purposes only. All right, trading plan is important. Again, market just opened, so let's just go over the risk and how to calculate the stop loss. So usually I'm looking at the stock forecast toolbox to find the direction. Model is turning actually positive. Model is turning slightly positive, saying that potentially we can reach 640 level, even as high as 645 level. On the downside, doesn't see a lot of momentum below 630. We had inflation data come in, CPI data, half an hour ago, not actually an hour ago, and it shows that there's some signs of inflation in certain, products like coffee beans and used car sales, but for the most part, inflation is contained, right? Inflation is contained and continues to drift lower. Basically, cementing. I think Bloomberg used the word cementing the rate cuts. And initial reaction rates were down. 10-year yield dropped. 2-year dropped significantly. You can see very volatile. And now actually 2-year yield down 40 basis points, 10 yield 40 basis points, right at that 430 line, that magic 30 line that we've been talking about. So it was oversold, bouncing back. But still, probability of the September rate cut, I think, is approaching 90, 100%. Basically, that there is one rate cut in September, one rate cut in December. The question is, that 50 basis points total this year? Is it 100 basis points? And that will, I guess, nobody knows for sure. But that's the initial reaction to the market. Spiders are up 0.5% on that news. VIX is testing 15, 14 level. QQQ up 0.5%. Semiconductors are up 20 basis points. So that's initial reaction. Market is up. Nvidia is flat. Copper rebounding back slightly. And SPX again fighting for the 6,400 level. So it's briefly above that level. Still no breakout. Continues to retest that level. So if you're looking for support and resistance levels, and we'll verify it with the position, but 630 is the buy level, right? 630, 632. 640, that's where we currently are, right? 637, 640 is where I would consider selling, right? Consider selling. We could get to 647, 650. We have PPI data. Earnings is already behind us, so retail data this week, initial claims. So this is the buy level. This is where I would trim. I think market is overbought, right? It continues to be overbought. It might stay overbought, but for now, I think risk is to the downside. So I think that I would increase the cash levels, right? If you haven't done that, I think these are all opportunities to potentially increase your cash levels. SPX is up 60 basis points, right at the 64.12. And let's look at bar chart in terms of gamma exposure. Cherry blossom hydrated muffin, Rasser. All right. Flip point is 627. Right, 62.74, put wall is 6,300. So as long as we're above that 630 on SPY, SPX 6,300, that would be a viable, and I would be patient. I would wait for these pullbacks. 6,400 is the largest positioning, right? 6,400 is the largest position of calls, and we're trading right at that level, slightly above that level, right? 10 basis points. Not 10 basis points, but 10 points. 10 points above that level. Any questions? So let's just go back to that. So today, I think we can get to 647, right? I'm bullish, and I think in the next 10 days we have Nvidia earnings, right around that time. Maybe Nvidia can push the market higher. How much money am I willing to risk, right? So right now we're at 640 level. So 630, I would use maybe. I mean, right now VIX is down some 1% moves, so 6 points, right? I would use 10. Let's use 10 points. So easier now. So if you're doing short-term trading, I would use 10 points. If the 630 level doesn't hold, right, 632, 630 level does not hold, I would use 620, right, 620 level, which we don't see it here, but I would use 620 level for longer-term trading, and that would be 20 points as my stop level. Right? And I'm targeting maybe 10 points more, rally. So for short-term trading, again, $10,000, I would not risk more than $250. If it's $5,000, maybe $125, and then I would just divide. If you're short-term aggressive trader and you're using 1%, maybe a little bit more, 1.5% stop loss, I would just divide 250 by 10. If you're thinking about days, weeks, then I would just divide 250 by 20, right? 250 divided by 20. So that would be the stop level, right? And those are the main levels I would use. I would be patient and wait for pullbacks as opposed to chasing these rallies. For now, Nvidia is flat, Bitcoin is flat, Google is up 1.5%. China continues to kind of in consolidation mode. Copper is in consolidation mode. XLK, no new highs, right? Kind of consolidating. You can see market is, it's grinding higher. It's grinding higher, but you can see it's overbought and just kind of, I think, waiting for the one negative news to, pull back, steeper pullbacks. Metals and miners are up. So metals and miners trying to break out. So that has been a strong trend. I would still be momentum-driven stocks, like XME, I think is a good momentum-driven sector. Metals and miners continues to grind higher. Silver is in that category. It's consolidating, but stable. So today, small caps rally, ARC Innovation rally. So I guess lower probability of inflation, high probability of rate cuts, and the main beneficiary would be small caps. They're doing a catch-up trade, ARC Innovation, regional banks. These are all stocks that got beat up. Home builders, right? We've seen. Did I get this wrong? Not sure why it said invalid symbol, but anyway, home builders, right? I mean, it's doing a catch-up trade, but you can see that at least short-term to medium-term, it's been on a strong uptrend. Got above 50-day moving average, above 200-day moving average. So I think that these are the sectors to watch, with the idea that there will be more rate cuts in the next year. XLF is up 80 basis points there, so banks are doing catch-up trade. Okay, let's look at position at JP Morgan. So JP Morgan also consolidating, trying to regain 20-day moving average. Tesla, that was a trade from yesterday, facing 350. So Tesla, I think if you just did a call, if you did call spread, then you're both long and short Tesla. If you did stock or if you did single call, potentially maybe get into a spread, because I think there is a lot of overhead resistance at 350, right? That's the call wall, 350. I mean, you have a flip point at 314, but this has been an overhead resistance for quite some time. If it breaks 350, I think it opens the door to 400, which is, I guess, possible, right? But it needs to break through that level. Not sure what this is. Okay. right? But it needs to get above the 350 level. But it did break the downtrend, right? This long term from the start of the year downtrend looks like it's about 50 to 100, and but short term overbought, and it needs to get above 350. So that's Tesla. JP Morgan is up. Nvidia is flat. Google is up. So we have magnificent, at least some of the magnificent seven. Google is doing a catch-up trade, close to year-to-date high. So Google is doing well. Microsoft continues to grind higher after earnings, but for now just consolidating. Meta is another leg up, trying to, posting new all-time high. So Meta is grinding higher. Amazon, Apple. Let's see what other sectors. So metals and miners, main mover. So that's continued to grind higher. Industrials trying to industrials still weak, right? Your General Electric, Caterpillar. How's Caterpillar do, Fred? It looks like it found the support at 400, right, or at 407. Utilities consolidation, consumer staple, healthcare is in consolidation. Any questions? Jason, welcome to the broadcast. Let me know if you have any questions. Lalit, welcome. Larissa, Louis, Mario, Patrick, Ron, Ted, Thomas, Bill. All right, let's go over some of the positions so you can see them on the yellow tunnel. We're still kind of, I apologize, the orders and positions, the broker dealer has issues with the API. We can't synchronize it, but I think they're getting close to resolving this issue. For now, you can just look on Dynamic Power Trader or Profit Accelerator for trades. On Tradespoon side, most of the positions are in premium. You can look at the premium portfolio. All right, so Tesla, long Tesla, short QQQ, long JP Morgan. You can click here and actually see what the position is. Right, so I have 295, 305 spread on Tesla. Sorry, on JP Morgan. So let's go over JP Morgan. JP Morgan is consolidating today on prospect of rate cuts. It's up, but again, it's consolidating. I don't think there's any new signal in the JP Morgan. So for now, we're still in consolidation mode. So that's JP Morgan. Nvidia. I bought 185 call, right? That was just bottom 185 call. Nvidia. It's trying to break through all-time highs. Maybe there's another leg higher. Earnings is in 2 weeks. It's not breaking out, right? It's kind of consolidating. Let's look at SMH. Very similar to semiconductor. So it's leading the rally, but you can see the, market is, the rally is getting a little bit, exhaustive, right? You can see percentage of stock above 20-day moving average, sharp divergence, right? We're making all-time highs in S&P, but the number of stocks above 20-day moving average, only 26%, right? So that's the divergence, basically saying that, the rally is exhausted, and it could stay exhausted. It can grind higher for another couple of weeks, even into September, but it's just until the next negative news, right? Because in theory, when you have such a good news from the inflation data, semiconductors should break out, right? But for now, just a lot of catch-up trade for the stocks that got beat up in the past couple of weeks, such as transportation, small caps. All right, so that's JP Morgan. I have a September, change that to September. So it's a September position, September 15. We do have expiration. So tomorrow we have VIX expiration, and then Friday we have equity expiration. So that opens the door, when these contracts expire, right? Rally could continue. You could have volatility rise, right? So next 2 weeks opens the door that the VIX could increase because the August expiration, right, which is this Friday. And if we look at the number, let's look at the positioning. I think they're pretty much equal now between, yeah. So there's about $50 billion worth of gamma positioning on September expiration and August 52. So half of the gamma, half of the contracts will expire on Friday. And VIX will expire on Wednesday, right? And that can cause short-term volatility. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. Any questions? All right, then let's continue. So we talked about JP Morgan, NVIDIA. So 185 call on NVIDIA. For now, still flat, slightly lower. Tesla also turning lower. And SPX back to its magic number 6,400, right? So it's for now it's pinned to the 6,400 level. We're a little bit higher, 6,416. We're a little bit lower, 6,395. But because of the large positioning, we're still to the 6,400 level. Okay, let's move on. And that's, usually somebody asks me, why do I have that rule? This is the best. Review look for single. I'm looking through my trading plan. Wait till end of day to make trades, right? If you think market is breaking out, right, because of inflation data is better than expected, and 100% chance that the Fed will cut rates into, in September meeting, and we have Jackson Hole in the next 10 days. Wait till end of day to rebalance your portfolio, right? If you were, let's say, neutral or bearish, and now you think you want to be bullish, that would be a good checklist, right, in your trading plan. Wait till end of day for bulls and bears kind of to fight it out in terms of who's winning, right? Who's winning, because you can see very large volatility, especially in two-year yield. Two-year yield were at 3.8 and 3.71. So you have a large swings in bond market, and that causes that influences, right? There's high coupling or correlation between bond market and equity market follows. And you can see spiders are giving up most of its gains as of right now. So we'll see where we're going to close. Any questions? Still holding QQQ spread. Yes, so QQQ spread, let me look at QQQ spread. I mean, same idea. I want to wait till end of day to make a decision. This is the only bearish position I have. But let's look. So that would be QQQ, right? So QQQ is September, right? I need to change this to September. Apologize in this. Now I have to do stuff manually. When before I was just synchronized with the broker dealer, but it will hopefully get resolved quickly. Not quickly, but my hope is, next week we'll be up and running again. But let's see. Okay, the good news, I do trade these. So QQQ spread 550, 540 spread is trading $1.20. So it's down 50%. So the QQ put spread is down 50%. It's a September position. Kind of, I'm using it as to hedge my long position in NVIDIA, long position in Tesla and JP Morgan. And I would, for now, I would wait. We do have retail data, inflation data this week. I mean, it is true that we are 50% down on that hedge, but since I'm using it as a hedge for now, at least to wait till end of day, right? Maybe spiders will turn negative by end of the day. We're give up most of the gains. Right? Hit 640. 637. So we'll see. Any questions? It's QQQ. Yeah, so you can see market is reversing, and that's a sign that on the good news, when the market doesn't really break out, that means there's not a lot of bulls left, right? And there's not a lot of positions. So you want to. That's why I always say wait till end of the day, make a decision in terms of rebalancing your portfolio, because things can change by end of the day. But let me see. All right, any questions on Discord? Happy Tuesday. All right. Yeah, so spiders are up 30 basis points, and I think SPX is fighting for that 6,400 level. 6,400 level. I mean, to the penny. So for now, we're as low as 63.88. So almost close the gap, right? Try to close, see if it closes the gap. 8:54, 14 minutes. Let's see. While we're waiting, what are any earnings? Today's Tuesday, so we'll see anything liquid. See how the Chinese stocks are doing. So TME had earnings today, Tencent, up 10%. All right. We have Circular that was on the news. Package software, I think it's Bitcoin exposure. Let's see, how's on cloud? On cloud, people are still buying the shoes. I got a new pair, so on cloud is doing well. Let's see. So let's look at the tomorrow. Cisco after the close. So Cisco after the close, that would be the trade in earnings power trade that I will do. Cisco has been one of the strong momentum outperformer this year, and I think that outperformance continues. So Cisco is something I would consider trading, but that's not till tomorrow after the close. Not until tomorrow after the close. All right, NVIDIA is turning negative, down 40 basis points, but SPX glued to 6,400 level. And what else? Metals and miners continue to grind higher. All right, silver. For silver to rally. Gold miners looks like they're rebounding, so that's good. Spiders. Let's look at spiders here. Look at the 15 minutes. So we'll see how the market reacts. Let's look at the rest of the position. So we talked about JP Morgan and via QQQ put spread, right? So I said I have 550, 540 QQQ put spread. Again, market has to find some kind of a negative news to reverse. So for now, I'm still holding the position, but have to probably make a decision this week whether I want to keep it or, because one thing I want to avoid is to go 100% loss, right? So right now it's down 50%. So this is where I need to make a decision. I mean, we do have few events, right? I mean, retail data has been decent. So we have PPI data that has been, I think is not going to be a surprise. Probably will continue to trend down. But retail sales, that's kind of an unknown, right? That could spark volatility, right? Because people are concerned about the employment, wages, and how much, is the consumer spending. So that will be another data point to kind of consider this week. And Tesla, right? I still have a Tesla. Let's look at Tesla trade. Tesla is. So I have I did 310, 315 call spread. So it's a deep in the money call spread, right? Somebody asked me why 310, 315. I mean, Tesla is volatile and it has a lot of premium. So, and you can see, right, you can move, 4 or 5% a day. So right now it's kind of giving up most of its gains. You can see QQQ is basically flat. Spiders is up 20 basis points. Let's see, SPX is pulling back. So I have a spread. The flip point is around 300, 314. So I think 315 level holds, right? This Tesla. So it's basically a question of time, right? The time is on my side. The closer it gets to September expiration, especially after this week expiration, then then there's a time decay in that spread, right? And you can see flip point is 314. So as long as Tesla above that yellow line, right, this rally, then there's the stock is. All right, any questions? So yeah, just start kicking around some names, some faces of somebody that you could bring in that you could trust that would do a good job in a junior capacity, junior broker capacity. And I think have that conversation with Patrick and Mel. How about Andy Ernst? Absolutely fucking not. You want to see that book go from 80 to 5? All right, any questions? Yeah, and also they're all opening up accounts at the center. Right. We've seen it happen. Oh yeah. We've gotten phone calls. Who's this AIO that all our accounts are transferring? No, I think we're turning basically flat, right? Semis are flat, QQX returning negative, spiders are flat, value stocks. VTV is still, so you can see kind of a catch-up trade in equal weighted S&P, right? Like RSP, still up 0.5% and close to the session high. So it's the stocks that were underperforming that kind of leading the market and hope that interest rates will go lower. And you can see 2-year yield is down 70 basis points. Any other questions? So we went through all of the positions. Okay, so I have bullish Tesla spread, bullish Nvidia option position call, and then bullish JP Morgan. JP Morgan, they're all expire in September. I need to fix that. But that's the setup. Any questions? Anyway, that ain't happening. So I don't want him upsetting the apple All right, 9:01. Let me fix this data and I'll wait for the questions. Let me know if you guys have any questions. For now, let's watch SPX. Keith is here. Keith says hello to everybody. And I'm gonna try to fix these option contracts. Discord, any questions on Discord? Rosser, Hydrate Master, Blossom, all right. Then I will see you guys on Thursday. Keith will be back at the closing bell and then Wednesday morning. Discord will be back on Thursday. Thank you, guys. I don't know if you guys have any questions for now. Fred just got here. All right. Welcome back, Fred. Let me know if you want me to. I mean, not much has changed, right? And we do have CPI data. I don't know. I mean, I assume you saw it. So I'm watching SPX level. The question was, do we close QQQ hedge? And for now, it's kind of been trading in the range, trying to glue to 6,400 pin, to 6,400 level. Right now, it's glued to 6,400 level. CPI was better than expected, right? It looks like inflation data is better than expected. The initial reaction was, rates sold off and market rally, and now kind of a reversal, right? 10-year yield is actually up 60 basis. Steepening of the yield curve, and that's one of the reasons small caps are doing better, right? And the regional banks are doing better. But technology kind of more of a rotation, right? NVIDIA is down 1%. So you can see the rally is kind of losing steam, right? Best description, maybe losing steam. And, I encourage everybody to wait till end of the day if you want to rebalance your portfolio, right? If you all of a sudden want to be bullish, I would at least wait to see if we have a breakout, because we've been dancing around this level. I mean, 6,400 for the most part of August, right? Starting beginning of August, we retested this level. We were at 6,200, so we've been trading in this range without a new signal, right? So I don't think there's any new signal. All right, dynamic power trader is 12. Let's fix the options. All right, so spiders is August 15. Actually, I'll do 9. So 9, 19, 9, 19. Tesla is also 919. And then we went over all of the positions. For not, not rebalancing, not changing anything, just waiting for the bulls and bears to kind of fight it out. And then JP Morgan. So at this point, all of my positions are in September, right? Then I expect the volatility to pick up, especially with tomorrow VIX expiration, Friday equity expiration. But let's see. Not sure what happened to quotes. Power trader. It's interesting. Okay. Oh, 919. 919. Is that the reason? Okay, so JP Morgan, actually, let's fix that strike. That's 295. 5 call. Spider 630, Tesla 550, 510. 510 call. Sorry, 310, 310. QQQ is 550. 550 put, actually. 550 put. 550 put. Let's see. Not like that. Right, dynamic power trader. Let's see. Okay. Let's try it again. QQQ and 50. Put. Yep. Okay. So now we're correct. So we have September, JP Morgan 295, 305 call spread. NVIDIA 185 call expires in September. Put spread in QQQ and Tesla call spread 310, 315. So now we're in sync. All right. Any questions? That's the best idea of the day. I think to wait. I think that's the best idea. Wait for the bulls and bears to fight it out. I mean, I do like metals and miners. If I have to pick, what is it, XME? We're looking at XME. Right, XME is breaking out, right? So you want these momentum sectors that are making, there's a new signals generated, right? So I think metals and miners, it could be a hedge against inflation, a hedge against recession, you know. But XME is definitely probably one of the better. Yeah, probably if I have to pick one, I would pick one, XME. And there's some contrarian plays like home builder, right? Was the idea that interest rates will be lowered, right, this year and next year, and construction will resume, and stock market is forward-looking, system. So that would be the best contrarian trade, maybe home builders. Even though I don't like, I'm more of a momentum trader, but you do have a momentum, right, since April lows, right? Home builders continues to make new highs relative to April lows. Thank you, Fred. Bill, buy low, sell high. Yes, that's another good advice. Buy low, sell high. All right, guys. Keep an eye. For now we're good to that 6,400, right? And we, until we break above this level, at least for a day or two, I would say, market is overbought, and you want to, play to the downside, or at least be market neutral. If we're able to stay above 6,400 on SPX, make new highs, I would keep an eye on percentage of stocks above 20-day moving average. That's also been pretty big divergence, right? There's a big divergence between S&P making new all-time highs and only 40% of the stocks above 20-day moving average, which usually shows you that there's less and less market participants that are driving this rally. And buy high, sell higher. That sounds good too. All good advices. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Keith will be back at the closing bell. And I will see you tomorrow after the close. That's not after the closing bell. Thank you very much and have a great day.